You're watching Fox 6 News with Bria Jones.
But first, we're following breaking news at 10. 3 more Milwaukee public schools are shutting down due to lead hazards. Go ahead and pan over, Eric. Very fluid situation. We have an officer here walking underneath the tape with a gun drawn. This is what we've been seeing just throughout the night. That's where we begin tonight. A Milwaukee neighborhood covered in crime scene tape after an officer shoots and kills an armed suspect. Now to Milwaukee, where police say 2 teens were shot and killed this Christmas morning. It happened on the city's south side. Well, Steph, I know you were at that press conference. Did the chief say it all in total how many officers were involved in this incident? I want to get you right to the action. Take a look behind me. This scaffold is now finally coming down. This is after 6 hours later, after 2 workers were rescued from the basket of, as you can see, this now secured scaffold. Meeting our questions with a closed door.
We deserve to hear from you, please.
And no direct answers.
Was the comptroller fired? Will the CFO be fired? Who else will be held responsible for this?
We told you all we can tell you.
Last year, the district faced serious financial fallout when it came to missing critical deadlines for reporting information. How do we avoid going back to that place? We're taking in so much graphic evidence. How could something as simple as a sigh kind of influence the jury? There's good and bad news when it comes to the economy. The Labor Department released its jobs reports this week. I only imagine it's refreshing when you jump into one of those flashbacks. Did you get the glizzy? That's really what I want to know. Then this race is hotly contested. Democrat and incumbent Senator Tammy Baldwin is seeking a 3rd term in Washington. They always say scotch is that drink that puts a little hair in your chest. I don't know. Maybe I'll be brave enough to try some of those suggestions.
This is Fox 6 Wake Up News.
Now at 8, a contagious disease has made its way to the Badger State, where health officials say the first measles case was found and how many people are infected. Plus, this isn't your typical prom, the special prom hosted by advocates in Waukesha County to help people recovering from addiction. Good morning, Milwaukee. We are taking a live look at Lambeau Field right now. What a gorgeous day there. Right here, also in the city of Milwaukee, we share 2 things in common right now, Lisa.
Wisconsin.
Yes. Well, a few things in common.
Okay.
Air quality.
Yes.
Being the most important.
Yes.
What do we need to know right now?
And this is the big problem. It's so hazy out there, and when we start to get this thick smoke, I mean, could you smell it this morning?
You could smell it. You could feel it on your skin when you're walking in.
I know.
It's just like this thickness. We'll see you soon, Lisa. One person is recovering in the hospital this morning after a shooting last night. Milwaukee police say it happened just after 9 along South 27th Street, and the 27-year-old victim was taken to the hospital. Police are still searching for a suspect this morning. A tragic update out of Racine this morning. We've learned the 15-year-old girl pulled from Lake Michigan on Thursday evening has died. She and other kids were swimming near Carrie Hogle Park when she disappeared. Dive team members found her more than 15 minutes later. She was taken to the hospital where she died. At the time, there was a swim advisory for Lake Michigan due to strong northeast winds. The state health department has confirmed the first case of measles in Wisconsin so far this year. 9 people in Oconto County are believed to have contracted the virus. The state says all of the cases were exposed to a common source during out-of-state travel. Doctors say it takes 10 to 21 days for people to show symptoms. Health officials are working to identify other people who may have been in contact with these people. Officials say they believe the risk to the community remains low. We're seeing new video this morning of a police chase out of West Allis that ended with 2 people in handcuffs.
Please stop, you're gonna get tased.
This happened back in April. You can see officers ended up using a taser to get one suspect in custody. You can see that right there on your screen. Now, this started as a traffic stop for a suspicious vehicle. The car ended up taking off down National Avenue, eventually going through the stadium interchange. The chase ended when the car stopped near 45th and Lloyd. 2 people were arrested. The driver is now charged. A bad weekend for a travel trailer owner in Racine County. Their rig caught fire Saturday morning on Highway 36. The fire originated on the front end of the trailer. The Rochester Volunteer Fire Company says there was a propane tank there that was spewing out gas. They got the fire under control in about half an hour. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Advocates in Waukesha County are taking a unique approach to make sure people battling addictions are getting the support they need. Those with the Wisconsin Community Services hosted a community-wide recovery prom. Our Durante Matthews has more on the prom for a purpose. Austin says the prom was a way to show recovery is not only possible, but it should be celebrated. For more information on the services offered, you can head right over to our website, fox6now.com. Today marks day 4 of the Wisconsin State Fair. Over the entire 11-day span, fair officials are expecting to see 1 million people come through. Of course, there's tons of food and drinks, the rides, the animals, the expo center. Headlining the fair tonight is metal band Queensryche. The fair runs through Sunday, August 10th. And if you're looking for a deal at State Fair, today is Veterans and Military Recognition Day. All veterans and military personnel and their families, up to 3 family members, they all get in free. You just simply have to show proof of military service. But before you hit the fair, check out our fair page. There you can explore all of the new foods and vendors out there this year. And that's not all. We have a list of the daily deals and a whole lot more. You can check it out right now on fox6now.com. It may have looked like green and gold fans had filled the stands at Lambeau Field to watch a regular season game. Instead, it was a packed house that was just there to watch family night practice. Tim Van Voren has more from Titletown. Gotta love all of that support. And we love spending time outside during the summer, but there is one thing you gotta watch out for, those ticks. A look at some tips and tricks you can do to protect yourself from the tiny parasites. April 2nd, 2024, a gloomy spring day in Milwaukee County. The waves of Lake Michigan bringing a chilling discovery, a severed human leg in Warnemount Park. The grim finding would unravel the mystery of the disappearance of 19-year-old Sade Carlina Robinson. Prosecutors say Robinson vanished after a first date with 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson. Unsealed warrants revealed a confidential informant told investigators Anderson planned to kill Robinson. A seemingly fatal attraction leading to an investigation spanning 2 states and the arrest of Anderson for homicide, arson, and mutilation charges.
This sick son of a is gonna pay.
To understand what happened next, we need to go back to the day before April 1st, 2024. Court records show text messages between Robinson and Anderson between 4:15 p.m. and 5:18 p.m. Anderson texts, "Are you hungry? I need to stop at Twisted Fisherman to pick up my W-2 from last year and we could eat there first." Robinson responds, "Okay," and "Yes. Are we eating at the Broad House or the other place?" Anderson replies, "Let's eat at Twisted. I'm feeling seafood." Robinson answers, "Yes, I love seafood." Still images from surveillance cameras show the two inside the Twisted Fisherman. Investigators say Robinson had Life 360, a location tracking app. It placed her at Duke's on Water and later at Anderson's Milwaukee home, 39th in Oklahoma. It's the last place Sade's loved ones believe she was seen alive. Her phone pinging at his home until 12:45 a.m. on April 2nd.
Do we know how Sade met Maxwell Anderson?
So from my understanding, it was no dating app. It was a friend of a friend. So my friend that worked at Pizza Shuttle, cousin, was the bouncer at Victor's, which was friends with the bartender, who was Maxwell.
Kiki is Robinson's cousin. She hasn't shared her last name publicly, but over the last year, she's led searches for her cousin and pushed for answers. Now for the first time, she's sharing these videos of Robinson the night before she disappeared. Robinson was spotted out at Victor's nightclub where Anderson was a bartender. You can see part of what appears to be Anderson's distinctive arm tattoo.
Another one of my family members reached out to me stating that they were at the bar with her, the Easter 31st at Victor's. and that they were having drinks. And they seen her with this man, and then who was described as the demon, who we call him, Maxwell.
Robinson was reported missing by a friend after she didn't show for a shift at Pizza Shuttle on April 2nd. That same morning, Milwaukee police say a car was set on fire near 30th and Lisbon. Detectives later learned it was Sade's vehicle.
I just heard the car crash, and it was a big bang, and I saw the car outside of my window, so I come outside, and by the time I come outside, I see the flames start, and I just see this taller white guy just running away from the car.
In that moment, Ashley Ryder says she didn't realize what she was witnessing.
I remember his face when he turned around because he looked so shocked, and then I found out a couple of days later what was actually going on.
Hours after the car was torched on April 2nd, a man discovered a severed leg with pink toenail polish at Warnemont Park in Cudahy. The same place investigators would later say Robinson's phone was pinging between 3 a.m. and 4:30. April 5th, less than a mile from the car fire. A body part was found in the same area of 30th and Lisbon. April 6th, remains were discovered at 31st and Galena. The next day, more remains were found at 31st and Walnut. At one point, Kiki says she found a blanket with Robinson's face on it lying on the ground in Galena Park.
I looked down and I seen Sade's face just flipped over, and my heart instantly just started to beat, and I just yelled to my sisters, like, I just found her blanket, everybody, and everybody just ran over to me. And then the detectives just showed up, like, nobody called them, they just showed up, and I told them, like, we just found her blanket. So then they started, like, shutting off the area.
Did you ever find anything else?
I did. I found her bone, and I was about to pass out, and I didn't, because everybody else around me was crying, like, everybody was emotional. But I can't get emotional because I'm gonna break, and if I break, I'm not gonna be able to search.
Fox 6 obtained surveillance video from a business near 31st and Walnut. It shows a person with clothing that matches what detectives say Anderson was wearing on a MCTS bus to head home. The person appears to be wearing a hoodie and a gray backpack. This is similar to surveillance images in the same area prosecutors shared in the criminal complaint. Days later, Anderson was arrested, making his first court appearance on April 12, 2024.
At this time, we don't believe that there are any other victims out there and that the person who is responsible for this heinous crime has been arrested.
Are you still searching for remains for Ms. Robinson?
Yes, we are.
As detectives used everything from flashlights to sonar boats, Robinson's loved ones searched far and wide with community support.
One day, we actually walked 21 miles. That was between there and back. We walked east, we walked west, we walked all the way probably to Racine.
On April 18, 17 days after she was first reported missing, Robinson's torso and arm were found in South Milwaukee. Nearly a month later, her arm washed up on the beach in Waukegan, Illinois.
What are you still searching for?
I'm gonna say her crown, her head, is still missing. So that's why it's important that we still do all these memorials and stuff so that people don't forget that we still don't have all of her.
To this day, pieces of Sade Carlina Robinson remain lost to the world, a somber reminder that justice still waits in the shadows. Bria Jones, Fox 6 News. We're now just days away from the start of Maxwell Anderson's trial. This case is one of Milwaukee's most high-profile crimes in recent years. Tonight, a former homicide detective is giving insight to the psychology of homicide. Under the cover of darkness, a crime meticulously pieced together by investigators in the light.
He's probably the individual who thought he would get away with this and not get caught, but I don't know how because it was very poorly carried out.
Prosecutors believe 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson killed and mutilated 19-year-old Sade Robinson after a date on April 1st, 2024. Detectives say the two went to two bars the night Robinson disappeared. Cell phone records pinged Robinson's location to Anderson's home at 39th and Oklahoma just before 9:30 p.m. Newly obtained surveillance video by Fox 6 shows evidence listed in the criminal complaint. Detectives say this is Robinson's vehicle leaving the alley behind Anderson's home on April 2nd around 12:45 a.m. Robinson's cell phone was later traced to Warnham Park in Cudahy, where her severed leg was discovered. Several hours later, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says a vehicle matching the description of Robinson hit a gate near the pump house around 3 a.m. Shortly after, someone is seen on camera near the beach. Robinson's car was later found torched that same morning.
Obviously, that to me is the mind of a killer. He's trying to get rid of all of that evidence, and that's one of the reasons he burned that car.
In the days and weeks ahead, Robinson's body parts would surface from Milwaukee County to Illinois.
Nowadays, you're right, we can track the movement of suspects, of cars, of witnesses, and in this case here, it's going to be damning at trial, let's face it.
Steven Spangola is a retired lieutenant with the Milwaukee Police Department.
No one suspected the horrors that allegedly took place behind this door.
He's been involved in many high-profile cases, including serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. There are a lot of people making the connection between this case and Jeffrey Dahmer. Do you see any similarities here?
You know, Dahmer, a lot of his victims weren't known. They were reported missing, but there weren't body parts that were recovered. And the body parts in this case were recovered immediately, which I think just puts a general panic. Let's face it, nobody wants to believe that they live in an area where there's a serial killer cutting up bodies. I do a lot of teaching, and people are very interested in serial killers. But here, I clearly don't think Anderson, I said this from the beginning, he's not a serial killer. He's too sloppy with what he does.
An integral part of the investigation, Anderson's home. This is video shared with Fox 6 allegedly showing the basement.
It shows a little bit about the way he lived.
A confidential informant told investigators Anderson planned to kill Robinson, saying Anderson intended to bring Robinson to his home, force her into the basement at gunpoint, and dismember her. Telling detectives they spotted 3 saws in Anderson's basement that could have possibly been used as weapons. Do you think the information that investigators learned from that confidential informant will hold up in court?
I can tell you this much, all killers talk. It's just a matter of who they talk to. They leak out their ideas. I think he was leaking out his ideas here because that's his fantasy. And, you know, fantasies never live up to what they are.
This past December, Anderson's attorneys filed a motion requesting more time to review expert analysis that could possibly give Anderson an alibi.
Our expert believes that there's evidence on Mr. Anderson's phone that suggests that he was using the internet, presumably at his home, during the time frame that another person would have been driving Miss Robinson's car around.
To which the prosecution responded,
"The state's contention has always been that Maxwell Anderson was left the house around 12:45 with Sade's car and her body and was driving around town throughout the night."
Delaying Anderson in his trial on charges of intentional homicide, arson, and mutilating a corpse. Sade's family holds out hope the rest of her remains will surface.
I feel so bad for the Robinson family. I cannot believe that you'd still be looking for parts of her body a year later here that haven't been recovered.
What strategies could you see the defense potentially using in trial?
You know, cell phone records, there's always questions when you take a look at what tower was tracked, where the phone was pinging off of. There's still some controversy about when towers get overloaded, they'll actually ping off another tower. They're not going to be able to put him on the stand, and he's not going to be able to come up with some rational thought process of what happened here.
So you don't think Maxwell Anderson will take the stand?
I don't think he'll take the stand right now.
Do you recommend him to take the stand?
No, I clearly don't think his attorney will either.
A daring decision that could shed light on a tragedy still haunting the shores of Lake Michigan.
I think our people here are basically just going to be able to take a look at this case and follow, as I call it, the breadcrumbs that are going to lead you right to Maxwell Anderson. This is not a whodunit.
We did reach out to the attorneys representing Maxwell Anderson and his family. They declined our offer for an interview. Trial for Anderson starts Tuesday, May 27th. In the studio, Bria Jones, Fox 6 News.